G'day everybody, my name is Elliot Waters and you're listening to the Dysregulated podcast. As always, thank you for tuning in. Okay, so just a little check-in to see how things are travelling, because you may remember that I'm on well-deserved annual leave right now. Well-deserved. I cannot stress that enough. Well-deserved. But this isn't annual leave where I'm just going on holidays and having a gay old time. The plan is that this is going to be very much a working period, a working annual leave block, trying to get back on top and get the ascendancy again in my life. So what does that mean? That means washing clothes. That means meal prepping. Maybe that means getting to the gym, getting running, doing all the things I need to do. So then I can dial down this anxiety a bit, because unfortunately, so we're day 3 into the annual leave. And well, before I get to the unfortunate part, the good thing is things are going well as far as the running and the gym are going. Tick, tick. I've been every day for both. So really, really happy with that. And it is good because I'm building towards, when I do these two things, I'm thinking to myself, I'm building towards, a better me. And that is a very motivating sort of concept, this idea of trying to attain a better me. Lots of dopamine floods in when I think about it like that. So that's the good sign. How's the body traveling? I'll tell you, I am very, very sore, but the running has been the surprise. The gym has been as I sort of expected, but not much volume I've been able to do. I just tire too quickly because I'm just unfit and I'm not conditioned at all. But the running, I've actually gone better than I thought, and that's really good news. So, because the other day I was talking to a friend at work and we were talking about old marathon stories, and I was talking about the times I used to do and how I used to train all this much, and it really got something going inside, and it still is, that burning desire to get back on top, whatever that means as far as my running is concerned, is very much still a figure of my motivation moving forward. That concept of improving the self, very, very powerful. Now, another part of improving the self was to try and taper off. This one I haven't spoken about yet because I only really came up with the idea 3 days ago, and that is to taper off or at least halve my dosage of Lyrica, pregabalin. So going from 300 in the morning, 300 in the afternoon to just the 300 in the morning. Now, I've withdrawn from Lyrica before. Not easy at all. And I've got to say, I have got so much residual anxiety at the moment. It is not funny. Even as I'm talking right now, like I'm really nervous and stressed because this Lyrica is just, man, the rebound anxiety is strong. And they don't tell you this when you get prescribed it. You know, you don't get told that if you want to come off it one day, which you probably should, because it isn't good for your memory, among other cognitive problems that tend to arise as well over time, there's going to be rebound effects. And that's the thing. If I was new to this game, this medication game, I'd be thinking right now that my anxiety's back and the only thing that was keeping it at bay was the Lyrica, when that's not actually true. It's taking the Lyrica away, which is causing this vacuum of neurochemicals, I suppose. And there's this, let me think. I think there's an excess of glutamate is what will be happening. There's an excess of glutamate which isn't being cleared, and that is causing me to be anxious. But it's not because of the underlying anxiety disorder, it's because of the removal of some of the medication. So it's a medication side effect, not an effect of anxiety organically, if that makes sense. It's not coming from an organic source. This is a chemically induced anxiety source where this is coming from. And I've got to keep that in mind, because I've got to remember, this isn't my anxiety getting worse. This is just my brain doing its homeostasis thing, trying to readjust all the levels and get back to, normal, whatever that is. So there you go. So the Lyrica, tapering off the Lyrica has been very difficult, but thankfully I've still been able to run and I've still been able to go to the gym, and I'm pretty proud of that. And I've been shopping, used my headphones because I knew the anxiety would be peaking. And it was, so I put headphones in and concentrate on the music as I was at the supermarket doing all that sort of stuff. I've been having plenty of kava to try and balance out the anxiety effects with kava, nature's Valium, of course. So, so far so good is basically the general message. But I have identified, and I really, really needed this annual leave because I've really been hitting my limit. And what I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet, and I'm sort of announcing it here without actually going through with it first, which is probably the wrong way to do things. But anyway, whatever, it popped into my head. I am going to pull back from some of my work with Black Dog and Everymind, at least until the end of the year. So there's that research paper with Every Mind that I'm helping or was helping write about using lived experience in research. Really great topic, but unfortunately, I do not have the capacity at the moment to be able to do that. Same with Black Dog. I've got a few webinar presentations that are booked in for December. I think I'm going to have to pull back from them as well and just really focus on finishing the year strong, getting this anxiety under control, this residual anxiety, maybe looking at the medication mix again later on and going from there. But it's been a difficult few months, really. I've just been constantly overwhelmed. What's interesting is I was wondering if because I get to the weekends usually and the weekends see me often sleeping and super anxious and all that sort of stuff. And I was interested to know if that would proceed during this annual leave, which is, one extended weekend. And it sort of has, sort of hasn't, but I'm not going to go into too much detail now because I'll probably do a complete episode on this because I think it's worthy of it. But I've been very close to doing the whole sleeping thing again. Very, very close. And I'm starting to really think this is a subconscious anxiety response that becomes very, very conscious, that's for sure. But I think at its core, me staying in bed the whole time is because I'm overwhelmed. It's the feeling of being overwhelmed. The world is too much. It's all closing in. It's too heavy. So I hide under the sheets, in bed. I think that's what's going on. I don't think it's because of withdrawing from medications like I thought previously. Maybe it was the modafinil. Not on the modafinil anymore, so it can't be that. And a few other things. So I'm thinking I'm really going to concentrate on this because I almost did it today. I was in bed till about 11 this morning, freaking out, stressed, lots of anxiety floating around, thinking, I've got all this stuff I need to do. It's all too much. And then burying myself under the covers. And I really had to pull myself away and say, no, we're not doing that. Let's get out there and let's get stuck into it, which was hard because of the anxiety from not having the Lyrica. And I was very, very tempted to go, you know what, blow it. I'll have that second Lyrica tablet because this anxiety is excruciating, which it is, and I've got stuff to do. But thankfully, I was able to pull myself away from bed and get out there and sort of get amongst a little bit, which is great. And it's this empowering feeling. It feels great, but I don't know. I'm still worried, obviously, but I'm still worried about this whole tapering off the Lyrica. It's been 3 or 4 days now, and I sort of was starting to hope that I'd start to shoot out of this depressive hole that I'm in. Anxious depressive hole that I'm chemically induced in because of the tapering off the Lyrica. I was sort of hoping I'd be shooting out of that by now. And then maybe I could look at dropping from the 300 a day to 150. That's sort of the schedule that I want to work on. Of course, I haven't told any doctors this. Of course not. This was just a great idea I come up with that I fully support without doing too much research on it. You got to remember though, I've tapered from Lyrica before. That's when I was in Maitland Private Hospital. When I was in the psychiatric ward up there, and that was torture. But every 3 days I was coming down in dose. Every 3 days, boom, boom. And I was in the environment to do it. So although, yes, many tears were shed, there were moments there where I literally thought my whole world was caving in. I remember at one point I was biting myself because I had that much anxiety and depression just in my head. I had to expel it somehow, so I was biting myself. That's a good story I probably haven't told you on the potty before. I'll tell you that story soon, I promise. But the point is that I've done this whole Lyrica withdrawals before, and it's absolutely brutal. Is it as brutal as withdrawing from a benzodiazepine, like when I was, dependent on lorazepam? No, that was next level brutal, and I don't think I could go through that again. That was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And that probably deserves its own episode as well. I don't think I've spoken about that at length either. So much to talk about. This is unbelievable. But the point of the matter is, I've been down this road with the Lyrica withdrawals before. It's very, very scary. But at the same time, I know that I can do it because I've done it before. The key is I need to not step down so quick that it becomes totally overwhelming, which I think is a little bit of what I'm doing, because last time when I successfully tapered off Lyrica, pregabalin completely, I was in hospital. The perfect place to do it. I was in hospital under the guise a psychiatrist I was seeing, twice a week. I was seeing a psychologist every couple of days. Like that was the place to do it. And I'm trying to do it now on my own out here in the real world, which, is fine, but I need to keep it all, relative to my abilities to manage my condition outside here in the real world. So that might mean having to sit on 300 milligrams, just the one tablet in the morning for a few weeks before dropping it back to maybe 150. Anyway, that's the story there. So overall, so far, so good with the annual leave. I've been productive. I cleaned the car. This is the other thing. I cleaned my car. It's looking beautiful on the inside. I could actually pick up a girl now and go on a date and not feel embarrassed. Like, that's a great feeling. So, there's some real... This episode's been clouded a little bit by the whole anxiety thing, but I want to make the point clear that I'm getting things done. I'm being productive. I've been running. I've been going to the gym, been getting the sun. I've cleaned my car. Next is to clean the bedroom. And then, this is all the life admin stuff that, well, I don't know about most people, but a lot of people just sort of take their ability to be able to do these things for granted. Whereas me, because of ADHD and all these other complex mental health disorders that I'm battling, doing things like cleaning the car is a huge, huge win. Huge win. And I don't get the dopamine for it till right at the end. That's the thing. That's the difference as far as I can tell. Perhaps when other people are doing chores like this, there's a bit of dopamine going, saying, yep, this is great, keep going. But I don't really get that because of the whole ADHD thing and the lack of dopamine in the important parts of the brain when it comes to this sort of executive functioning and attention. So for me to get these things done is a huge, huge step in the right direction. And I've got to say, the medication Vyvanse has certainly helped with that. It has certainly helped. And I think the 50 milligrams that I'm on now is what I'm going to lock in. It has helped a lot. But at the same time, a lot of it's come from within because I've been really anxious, but I've been really stoic in the face of this anxiety and being like, no, we're not wasting this annual leave like I've done so many other times before. This annual leave is going to be the foundation that will propel me forward. Now, there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet, which you may be thinking of, and that is the resume. The resume, TBA, I'm going to get back to you on that one. It's requiring a bit more of I've got to get my head around it before I attack it properly, but the resume is coming as well, and then hopefully applying for new jobs, and watch out. So anyway, that's it for now. I've got the psychologist tomorrow, so I'll let you know all about how the psychologist goes. I'd say we'll be talking again about my competencies and my abilities and why I should be confident to do this resume and go for the new job. But anyway, that's it from me. There's a bit of anxiety floating around, but at the same time, through the storm, I'm staying stoic and I'm still getting it done. How good is that? Just got a shot of dopamine. I better go and take advantage. Thank you for listening, everybody. If you are enjoying the show, feel free to like, subscribe, give the show a great rating, and you can share it around with your mates. And you can follow me on Instagram at elliot.t.waters.